Going back to Monte, he had played baseball for 10 years, but could you tell last year maybe he had to knock some rust off when it came to football? And does it seem like he's done that this year and is more kind of fluid with the football stuff on the field?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. He was so raw coming in last year, just not having to get out of a break in a while, run a comeback, run a curl, those type of routes. And I think, like I said, he's taken huge strides to where now he's a big-time player, man. And I think he's going to explode in this offense this year, and we're going to do some good things with him and use him in different ways that Petrino likes to do with big guys like that.
You had a guy named Andrew Armstrong last year that led the conference in receiving. How important is it to find a go-to guy like that, or would you rather it be kind of more of a distributed amongst the whole unit? Yeah,
this offense is always ran through all the guys. Every skill player on the field, Coach Petrino believes in spreading the ball around, and feeding the studs. Armstrong was our stud last year, so Petrino fed the studs, So this year I think we have way more depth, way more speed, a lot more toughness, like I said, and I think there's going to be guys making plays across the room and not just, the one position.
Omega's been a couple years at South Carolina. Do you just think that's helped him had an easier transition to Arkansas?
Yeah, it has. He's definitely adjusted well. He's played in this conference. He's played in a complex offense. A lot of the carryover from his offenses he's learned before have kind of carried over to us, so it kind of helps out with him learning. But just the high level of intensity, the competition, the toughness it takes to win on a route in the SEC, he understands that. So I think that was a big thing in recruiting, was just finding somebody that's played at this level that can go dominate and win a one-on-one.
And then you talked about just having guys who could make big plays. He certainly is one of those guys. How important is it to have him and what he can do in the open field when he gets the ball in his hands?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, you look at his yards per catch last year, and our focus, like I said, was we want more yards after catch this year. And looking at his numbers, that was the first guy I wanted to go get. Just his average per catch was unbelievable. I think it was almost 25 yards per catch. And I think you insert him in Petrino's offense, I'm excited. He's going to take off and hopefully have a better year than last year.
Sam the other day was saying that he knows that he has leaders in the wideout room. He just needs to figure out who's going to be vocal besides maybe Monte. Who are some other names that are turning into that?
Yeah.
And how?
Yeah, I think how they've earned that right is just through their work. The whole room sees, who's working the hardest, who's putting in the extra time, and those guys are stepping up. Guys like Monte, I mentioned, Omega's trying to be a leader. He's being more vocal. Like you said, he's played at the SEC. He knows what it takes. So bringing those young guys around has been huge with Omega. And, Raylan Sharp, having played in this offense, being a senior as well, he's tried to lead. And Cam Shanks has came in here and tried to lead as well. So I think everybody's being vocal in the room right now, and it's awesome. We break it up after practice. It's like a competition for somebody to step up and say something to the room. So you love to see that as a coach.
Staying on the Omega theme right now, the big catch, the yards per reception last year, it felt like sometimes looking at his stats like a little bit boom or bust. Is there part of like you have to work with him on maybe the shorter routes, or is that just part of maybe the scheme in Charlotte? Is that something that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that, what happened at Charlotte, but I know with the talent, you put that talent in Petrino's offense, teach him the position, I think he's going to excel and have even more production per game, like you're saying, instead of up and down. I think as long as he continues to put in the work, keep competing throughout camp, and I think he'll be just fine when we get to game one.
I'm curious, inside the room after the CC injury, like were there conversations with any particular guys like this is a bummer for us, but this is your opportunity? How did the room maybe approach that injury?
Yeah, he's a vocal leader in the room as well, and I think him coming in the wintertime and earning a job, being out there with the ones at times it was tough for him. It was tough for the room, because he's a great kid, a great leader. And I think, like I said, it's brought our room closer. He's still vocal. He's still helping guys out. He's another coach on the field, and I think it's definitely brought more guys along. Hey, I got to compete. I got to bump up the depth chart. I got to go out there with the ones or the twos and make plays.
What's next for Antonio Jordan? Like, what are the next steps in his development that you want to see him accomplish before the games arrive?
Yeah, I think just every day, me and him just having a plan. What are we going to accomplish today? Hey, we're going to learn this. Not throwing the whole playbook and overwhelming him. That's the main thing. I don't want to overwhelm him. I don't want to put too much pressure on him because he's got the talent and he cares so much, and he wants to do the right thing on every play. So just controlling his reps, putting him in the right situation to build confidence. as a young guy, you always want every day, especially a freshman, their confidence to go up. They have a bad rep in one-on-ones as a young guy. They may get down on themselves. So just building his confidence every day, because like I said, he's going to be special, and every day he's making that wow play, and now we want every play to be a wow play.
Another freshman, Jacaden, I can't remember what his injury was in the spring, but it looked like he started off pretty fast, and it seems like he's kind of picked up. What does his future hold? Yeah, I think him coming in the wintertime definitely helped him as far as the mental game, learning the playbook. He showed his explosion in spring and laid out for a pass and broke his clavicle, but now that he's back, he took that time to learn the plays. He's jumped in fall camp, and there hasn't been any confusion with the routes or any of the plays. He's stepped in, and mentally he looks like an older player instead of a freshman. So now it's kind of like Antonio, using that talent, building that confidence every day, because he didn't get all of spring ball, so now this is his first camp basically right now. But he's a very explosive player, bright-eyed kid, big smile, and he loves football. So I think just adding guys to the room that love the game, that compete, has really helped us this offseason. Actually, about everybody, I think maybe at Crutchfield. What do you need to see from Courtney?
Crutchfield, he's got great talent, man. Like I said, every guy in the room just has to keep learning the offense. He's made a lot of plays these first 4 practices, and it's just being more consistent every day. Keep learning the playbook, be great in the run game, pass game, and just be a full-time player. But he's very talented, man. He's strong. He's got great hands. He's made some 50-50 catches, and that's what we wanted to see this fall camp too, is who's going to step up and make those 50-50 catches. And he stood out with that. Obviously Omega Blake, Antonio Jordan. I mean, I don't know if you can call it 50-50 when the ball's in the air with him, but he's going to go up and get it.
I think we all wrote in spring that with Armstrong and Tesla gone, you didn't have a lot of 6'3", 6'4s out there in spring.
Right.
Was lack of height any concern for you guys?
It's different, you know what I mean? Last year, I was looking up the whole year in the room. We had Broden 6'7", Tesla 6'4", Armstrong 6'4", so size is definitely a good thing in this conference, but I thought, with working with the staff, what we were looking for, Omega Blake, he's 6'3", he's tall enough, and I think, speed and getting open on a route is the most important thing. If you can get open, size doesn't matter in my opinion.
You don't just fall into number 5 around here. How did Jacaden get 5?
He graduated early, and the number was open, and Coach Pittman decided to give it to him, and I think he's honored that number throughout this camp so far. He's been a great addition to the room, being out from spring ball, just having that extra explosion and speed, and he's coming every day ready to work. Just the program he came from in high school, they're a very tough program. They all love the game, so he stepped in here and just brought a different energy to the room as a freshman, and I love coaching Jacaden Ferguson.
You mentioned Antonio Jordan. His technique was really good, got really good coaching at the high school level. Warren knows a thing or two about producing wide receivers. I'm curious, do you pick those coaches' brains on what their secret is? Or?
No, having spent a lot of time down there, it's really helped me figure out how to motivate Antonio. How his coach motivated him, how he pushes him. Like I said, he's a very coachable kid. I can coach him hard, but he's a great kid that just loves the game. Like I said, he wants to be coached hard, and he's used to it. So just building off what Warren's built with him and just continue to push him to be great is all I can do for him.
You've been with Coach Petrino for some time now. Just how have you seen him evolve with just the changing landscape of college athletics? How's he evolved with it?
I would say Coach Petrino's pretty much the same. He's the same guy. He's always going to try and outwork the competition, man. He's a fierce competitor, and he has the same demands in this offense that he's had since my first year working for him in 2015, and I think that's what makes him the best, is he doesn't change. He will adapt and evolve to the transfer portal era, the NIL. We've all had to adjust to that, but I think it's the same game for him, and it's the same offense that we've been running for a long time, and it's withstood the test of time. So we just got to keep demanding the details and demanding that these guys play full speed, and it works. It's worked for a long time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.